Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This video is about a disorder called PPPD. So that stands for Persistent Postural Perception Dizziness. Persistent being that you've been experiencing dizziness for longer than 3 months and in quite a chronic state. The postural side of it is that it is an ongoing feeling of swaying, so it's a little bit different from vertigo. It's not brought on by a position or a rotational vertigo. And the perception is that our perception creates this swaying. With PPPD, a lot of it is a visual stimuli that is all day long. So you're feeling this when you're in the supermarket, in wide open spaces, watching TV, something moving in your periphery. Supermarkets are particularly triggering. The colours, the aisles, the people, you having to move through it, it can make you feel like you want to vomit. Your vision is blurry and you're swaying. There's a sensation of swaying through your body and through your spine. So it's just like this constantly, but you're sitting still. PPPD could have started as a state of vertigo. It can start from head trauma, from emotional trauma, from a virus. There's so many different leads here, which is why it's so confusing for doctors to diagnose. And it's important to rule out everything before self-diagnosing, especially with PPPD, and hopefully you can get a diagnosis from a doctor. It is very difficult to get a diagnosis. Reading about everyone else's experiences through blogs and articles and videos like this YouTube video, most people, if they ever got a diagnosis, it was within a year, 2 years, or 3 years. Often a lot of us are self-diagnosed. So currently I'm self-diagnosing myself with PPPD, having gone through multiple tests and doctors and a year and a half of trying to figure out what's going on. It's an expensive journey, it's an emotional journey, it's a very time-consuming journey, and it's a very disappointing journey. I had very comprehensive blood tests done, my hormone levels checked, MRI, CAT scans, EEG, hearing tests done, visual tests, balance and postural tests done, a physio for 8+ sessions, massage therapists, I saw craniosacral therapists, a chiropractor, I saw a healer. I went down every route I possibly could. I saw 11 doctors. I saw 2 vertigo specialists. The second specialist, I found him absolutely great. He put cameras down my throat, in my ears, up my nose. He put anaesthetic in my face to try and notice if there was a difference between the nerves in my face and my ear affecting my balance. So it was a very interesting test. I was put in sound booths and had all sorts of hearing tests done, had sight tests done. At the time I was wearing a retainer for straightening teeth. I won't name anything else to do with that or any more detail, as I've gone through a court case with them. That vertigo specialist seems to think that it was the retainer, the teeth straightening journey I was on, that caused the damage. My jaw clicks, and he did a scan of my jaw and said that because of the position of my jaw and the amount of attachments that had been put onto my teeth, he reckons I wasn't a candidate for that treatment and that I should have never have been put on that treatment for the structure of my jaw, because there's a misplacement in my jaw. And when I went to go for that treatment, they took an x-ray of my jaw before giving the go-ahead that I was suitable for that type of teeth straightening. So there was negligence there, and he reckons that's what caused this vertigo damage. I felt a lot of pain in my jaw, my neck, and down into the back of my arm. So I used to experience, when I move my arm, the feeling of getting an injection in the back of my arm, or an electrical shock. It was quite painful. It was, it wasn't a nice thing to experience. So my journey started on the 26th of December 2020, when all of a sudden, midday, middle of the day, just a normal day, I felt as if someone punched my head across the room. I describe it as if a poltergeist was throwing me around the room, because as soon as I felt like I was being punched one way and I was completely still, felt like I was across the room, then I get punched back the other way. And leaning back even to 30 degrees, I felt like I was completely upside down. It was a really scary experience, had no idea what was going on, had never experienced anything like it, and started vomiting, because obviously my brain thinks I'm on some kind of funfair ride and I'm not. Rushed to the hospital. They looked in my ears, my eyes, my throat. Couldn't find anything, but the doctor said maybe there's some fluid in the ear there, maybe there's an infection, so sent me home with some antibiotics. I completed the course of antibiotics and the symptoms were the same. So for the first 3 months, it was quite a traumatic experience. I couldn't lie down at all, which made doctors think it was a positional vertigo I was experiencing, and it could have been at the time. So I had to sleep sitting up, so I wasn't really sleeping very much, which compounds all of the bad experience, all of the symptoms that are going on. Movement with my eyes was very triggering for nausea, so I had to look straight ahead. There were some days where if I looked towards my right ear, I would throw up. If I looked towards my left ear, I'd throw up. So that was confusing for doctors that I was seeing on an ongoing basis, because it was very hard to figure out which ear was causing the problem, because at the time they thought it was an inner ear problem. So I was seeing physios for vertical maneuvers, and the maneuvers were making it worse. But often we have this mentality of it'll get worse before it gets better, so you keep going. But the maneuvers were very tough, almost emotionally, because you just feel like you're about to pass out all of the time, and it makes you very nauseous. For the first 3 months, my vision was completely blurry. It felt very real that there was damage in my ears, in my brain, whatever it was, in my nerves. I couldn't see. So that was very disorientating and very hard if I was to leave the house. I also experienced this in my ears constantly. Almost 3 months that did not stop in my right ear. Sometimes in my left ear, it nearly drove me demented, because I could still hear people talking to me, but that was just, it nearly drove me absolutely insane. And any time that it stopped, it was this sense of the ocean in my ears. So it was just constantly like this fog. With PPPD, you're very stuck inside your head. Your head is very heavy. And because there's so much focus up there, you get a lot of neck pain. So you experience this stiff neck with PPPD. So I had the blurred vision, I had this in my ears. And then I think because you're so focused on your head and you're trying to steady yourself so much and you're trying not to vomit so much, it's very hard to connect to your body. So my job, as you may know from this channel, is very physical. At the start of me trying to rehabilitate this, not knowing what was going on, I could lift one leg and my other leg couldn't follow. It's like it couldn't find it. So say in terms of a Pilates exercise, I'd lift one leg into tabletop and my other knee couldn't find my first knee. I was lucky that what my job was asking of me was inadvertently rehab for this condition, so to connect your brain to the rest of your body again. But it was very unsettling, very emotional, wondering what's wrong. Within those first 3 months as well, I woke up smelling burnt toast, and they were times when I would rush to the hospital as well, thinking you're having a stroke. Again, all of the tests would come back negative. There are days when you start to wish that there is a tumour, that there is something that can be taken out, that can be solved, because you're just going crazy. And every second doctor is telling you that you're stressed and you need to de-stress. And it's always good advice to de-stress, but it can create a vicious cycle of every time you're stressed, you're blaming yourself. But then you get something massive like that poltergeist feeling, like vomiting for no reason, like not being able to sleep, like swaying. This is not just stress, there's something wrong. You're getting electrical impulses down your arm, you can't balance, you feel like you're going to pass out. It's a very exhausting condition. Those very heavy symptoms for me were the first 3 months especially, and then continued for the first 8 months. Then I got to a stage where there was a bit more normality for life. So when you're not throwing up and when your body links up again, it's easier to be social, but it's exhausting. Even like maintaining eye contact when your vision is blurry or there's a sound in your ears, it's very tiring. So I've felt for the last year and a half, I'm just very tired. Your pace of life has to change, and all you can do once you've been cleared from all those tests, it's very important to do all of those tests, get everything done and rule everything out. But once you are done with all of that, it's very important to find some level of acceptance and to lean into it. I would have been lost without meditation. Meditation became, a massive crutch, and I just had to believe in the process. So I'd I do meditate 3 times a day and have done for months now, and it's a non-negotiable because whether stress started it off or not, it perpetuates it, absolutely. Making yourself as relaxed as possible is really important. Unfortunately, that means saying no to a lot of social things that you would have usually done, slowing down your life a lot and just trying to get better. Outside of that, your body needs to link up again. So I feel like the Pilates was really good, even though it's painful. It's scary at times when you can't feel yourself fully and you can be very nauseous and need to sleep straight after it. So I pulled back my schedule greatly, and after any classes I did teach, I would be on the couch for hours. It's a bit of an Instagram versus reality situation because I would teach and put all my energy into it, and it may be a 40-minute class followed by 5 hours of sleep. I know there's other people that you have to take work off completely for months and there's nothing in place because there's no diagnosis. It's not very recognized for a lot of us, and especially if you're self-diagnosed. So my heart goes out to everybody with PPPD. I know we're all exhausted, we're so tired, we need a hug, we need a break, we need support, but there's not always those supports in place when it comes to your career. So I just wish you strength. The exercises for PPPD, at the start you can feel quite sick with them, so maybe start with 5 repetitions of everything, work it up to 10. At the moment I'm up to 20 repetitions of everything and I've been doing them for months. I'd say do them every chance you can get, because I feel like the more you do it, the more you're building your proprioception, the more you're creating those links again. I really feel like that's my healing, that's when it's coming together, and it has made everyday movements and everyday tasks a lot easier. So you may start with just eye movements. If you're still in the height of it, maybe you're on month 5 or 6 of it and it's still very scary. So maybe you will simply, when you wake up, look down, look to the side, look back, and you might do 10 or 5 repetitions of looking up, 10 or 5 looking down. Looking down I find especially hard. I know everyone will experience that differently. You might start to move your head with that as the days go on. Such tiny exercises, but these exercises used to make me vomit straight away. So I understand how sensitive it's going to be for some people. Outside of that, you may start to follow your finger with all of this other motion happening behind your finger, all of the colors, all of the shapes happening behind your finger. That can take a lot. That can be a lot of your rehab. It can take a while for circles to feel better because that might bring on what feels like a vertigo attack. So just go gentle on yourself. So that's the start. After that, you really want to start getting into your neck and your head. So I do at the moment 20 repetitions of up and down. Then you do 20 repetitions where your eyes are fixed on an object. So you pick a dot on the wall, whatever it is, up and down. That can be harder sometimes because again, there's motion happening around it, and PPPD is really aggravated by that visual stimuli, and you're trying to orient yourself with all of the movement and all of the colors happening around it. After that, make sure your shoulders are relaxed, you're sitting nice and tall, and you simply go side to side. A lot of us are going to experience creaking in the neck. You're starting to notice one side is maybe tighter than the other. You just relax as much as you can. Make it as smooth as you can. So kind of visualize maybe a camera panning on a tripod and you're going from side to side. And you may do 5, 10, 15, 20 repetitions of that. Then we have this kind of semicircular movement, and this one can make you feel very sick, so take it slow. So ear to the shoulder, bring your chin forward, and then you reverse it. So again, like a rainbow shape. Down and then reverse it, and you'll do that on both sides. Any sort of kind of joint movements, so there's a forward, a side and back, they can be harder than just a straight movement, so go easy and go gentle on yourself. Then we have ear to shoulder, and I'd say watch the shoulder creeping up, so get as much movement and space in the neck as you can. This is very hard if you're experiencing the stiff neck that a dizzy head brings on, because we don't realize we're tensing when we're dizzy, so our necks can get very stiff, and this can be hard. But try and feel as if your nerves are flossing So visualize floss happening through your bones, and that can help you to just relax into it rather than noticing the stiffness. You're enjoying the flossing, and you do that on both sides. It's normal that they're going to take a long time to even out, so the degree of movement, the range that's available might take a long time to even out. I'm going to do another video where you can follow me along with all of those exercises. So I'll do 20 repetitions of everything, but you may do just 5 or just 10. I hope you've gotten something out of this video. The takeaways are meditation, anti-anxiety, in whatever way that is. For some people that's going to be medication, and that's okay if you're trying to deal with this illness, this disorder. If you're trying to navigate life through it and you want to do an anti-anxiety medication, talk to who you need to talk to and make that happen. I was on diazepam for a while. Personally, I hated it. I felt sedated and I felt lazy and I felt more brain fog. That being said, it was a very valuable crutch in times when I felt like attacks were going to come on. I did feel like it stopped them from happening. So very valuable. Some of us are going to be on antivirals like that. The herpes simplex virus can cause an attack on your brain and cause vertigo, but it just depends on if you get a diagnosis and what that diagnosis is. So meditation, anti-anxiety, and start to build up your connections in your body again from your toes to your head. So whether that is yoga, I know yoga is a lot harder because of inversions. I still can't do yoga. Even downward dog is very triggering. Maybe it's Pilates for you. Maybe you want to work with a physio for PPPD exercises and have someone administer these movements to you instead. Or else maybe you want to follow my video and see where you go, or there are multiple PPPD exercise videos on YouTube that you can find. Do them religiously. The consistency is key. You're not going to feel a difference in one day. You may not feel a difference in 10 days. And if you do feel a difference in 10 days, then you can understand the value of being really repetitive with this. So you do it as soon as you wake up. You do it before you go to bed, and maybe you do it in the middle of the day. So see it as a top up, as if you're inserting balance into your eyes, into your body. Personally, I think as soon as you wake up is really, really important, because usually with PPPD, the morning is the hardest. It takes a very long time for your vision to settle, for your head to settle, for your body to settle. Again, it can feel like your spine is swaying constantly and you're just sitting still. It's a very unsettling feeling. First thing in the morning, really important. It's like as if you're coding it into your body. You're like, here I am, here's my body, here's my movements, here's my eyes working with my movements. Now let's settle into the day. So I think the morning is really important. Just before bed can be really valuable to help you sleep as well. Personally, I find any of these circular movements very nauseating, very dizzy inducing. So maybe I only do 3 of the exercises before bed. But the point I'm trying to make is the more you visit it, the more you're going to fast track this. And it's not a fast track situation, I know that. But the more that we can help our brains to remember the attachments to our bodies and where we are in space, the better. I know it's an emotional journey. I know it's incredibly hard. I know that you're out there feeling very sick every day, but not looking sick at all. So maybe we're not getting the warmth and the sympathy that in the background we may crave. I know that it's hard for people to understand how long you're living with this and how debilitating it is. So I just wish and hope health and happiness and steadiness for everybody. I know it's a lot, but we'll get through it together with these PPPD videos. I've gotten a lot of comfort out of other people's, so I hope that this brings comfort and some answers to anybody at all. Please share your symptoms, your experience in the comments. I know I've forgotten a lot of things I experienced along the way, so maybe I'll make another video at some point. But yeah, please share, because it's so important to not feel alone in something so invisible. Yeah, thank you for watching my video. Thank you if you're still here. I hope that you will enjoy the exercises that I share in a separate video. Keep me updated in the comments with how you feel as the weeks and months go on. Do not skip a day, ever. Even if you're doing the exercises in a public bathroom or anywhere you need to escape to do it, just don't. Just don't skip them, because you'd be surprised how quickly your symptoms come back. And that being said, I found the exercises great, and then I may go away for a weekend at an event or something and I don't do them for 3 days and it comes back with a bang. So I'm committing to myself that even if someday I feel completely better, I will still do these exercises. It's just a non-negotiable. So get it in, just create that habit. It can take months for that habit to be created. I hope that this helps, and I'm just sending so much love to anyone suffering out there with this. It's exhausting, so go easy on yourself, go gentle, relax the pace of life. Everybody can deal with a bit of that anyway, and I will see you soon, I hope. Thank you so much for watching this video.